Good afternoon, grinders. This is your MLB SimLabs analysis for Tuesday, August 12th. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka BlenderHD. If you want to follow me on Twitter, hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. You know how much I like the thummy thumbs. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. We got Grinders Live, 5 p.m. Eastern, followed by Crunch Time with Kevin Roth and the weather report, which is going to be somewhat important tonight. Pretty much two games to moderately worry about. I guess one to worry about, one not so much. Late start as possible. Colorado at St. Louis, which will be important because I think the Cardinals will be one of the chalkier stacks on the board today. And then another important one is this Tigers White Sox game. That's a 7:40 p.m. Eastern start, so we should have some more information early. Roth has the card radar at yellow-orange, and need to reevaluate the timing of this line of storms. He's optimistic they get the game in tonight. Just depends on, there's a late start in play, delay in the middle of the game. And that's going to matter a lot because Detroit is probably going to be an option tonight. And also Jack Flaherty against the White Sox is going to be one of the more popular pitching options on tonight's slate, assuming that game plays. So definitely tune into Crunch Time later today. I always do when I'm building my lineups on the go, just to make sure I'm not playing anyone that potentially gets a zero because of a delay or a postponement. But we do have 12 games on the slate today. A lot of good pitching. We have four guys at the top of pitching. They're all pretty expensive. It's if you want to pay up for $20K plus for pitching today, you can. But we also have a whole bunch of options. You have to hold your nose for some of these, but in the cheaper region, which I think SimLabs is going to actually show more of than you would expect. But top projected pitcher on the slate is actually Freddie Peralta at 10K, 20.22. It's right. Peralta and Skeens are the two highest projected pitchers. They're within like a fraction of a point of each other. Skeens at 11K against Milwaukee. Peralta 10K against Pittsburgh. Both have all these the top four pitchers all have 20+% ownership, 20 to 30% ownership, and similar optimal rates. So we have Skeens with a 25% optimal rate, Peralta with the 17% optimal rate. Then we have Carlos Rodon at 10.2K against Minnesota. He has a 17% optimal rate. And then Jack Flaherty at 9,200. Similar projection. Like all these four pitchers are projected within 1 point of each other. So like Peralta, we have currently is the highest at 20.22, and Rodon is the lowest at 19.25. So these four pitchers: Skeens, Peralta, Rodon, Flaherty, and obviously, if that White Sox game is in doubt, a lot of this Flaherty ownership will end up going to the other three. So you may actually get a discount ownership-wise, as well as salary-wise, on Flaherty. The more and more the White Sox game gets iffy. But obviously, if that game plays and Flaherty comes in at 10% ownership, then that's probably a good move to make. Then we have the other pitchers on the slate. Obviously, we get like Spencer Strider's there. I mean, raw point projection-wise, fine. But he's like 2 points lower than the other four pitchers that I just mentioned. And then there's like a drop. And then there's a drop to, well, also you got Robbie Ray there, 9,700. That's another drop in 2 points in projection. But you have a lot of like these guys in like the 6 to 8K range that all project around 14 points. And none of them are really going to be that owned. Like these are all single digit owned players. Maybe 10%, but we have like Emmett Sheehan, 7,700. Dustin May, 6,700. Shane Baz, 8,500. Jack Leiter, 7,100. Nestor Cortez, 6,400. Spencer Arrighetti at 6,500. I mean, although his pitch count, he's probably not going to pitch more than 90 pitches. Then we also have a guy like Jacob Lopez, 8K. Even like, I mean, you play Michael Walker at 8,200, I guess, at 2% owned. You could do that. I mean, just a mix of all these guys that I'm mentioning. It's not like they have very high optimal rates. These are, guys in a 7, 8, 9% chance of being optimal. But there's a lot of them. And unless you're going to play like a vomit stack today, playing like Skeens Peralta lineups with 21K at starting pitcher is not, I mean, there's always value. There's always these $2,300 guys that you could plug into your lineup. But I suspect that one of these 7K level, 6K level pitchers could put up 18 to 20 points. And unless, two of the four guys that, between Skeens, Flaherty, Rodon, and Peralta, they put up 30 plus, then I'm not sure if you're going to need two of them. But I'm just suspecting what SimLabs is going to say. Because I think we're going to get a lot of those four, but I think most of these lineups are going to be paired with lower price pitchers. And then from a stack perspective, top stacks of the day are actually fairly expensive. I mean, not like absurdly expensive, because you could find pieces to play a 5-man stack with a value player in them. But the Dodgers, 14% chance of being optimal. The Yankees, 11% chance of being optimal. They both have pretty high team totals. Yankees, 5.61. The Dodgers, 5.78, right? Two of the highest on the slate. Other high team totals include like Detroit, 4.84. Kansas City, 5.25. St. Louis, 4.91. And obviously, Tampa Bay and the Athletics, playing in Sacramento, they both have, 4.75 implied team totals. But we see here on the top stacks tool here at RotoGrinders, Dodgers and the Yankees clearly ahead of everyone else. And then it's kind of like a mishmash of like practically everyone on the slate. But you can see here from the values perspective, the Cardinals are the cheap piece. The Royals, even though they have a high team total, 5% chance of being optimal, which is still part of this mess. But you got the Rays here, the Tigers, the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Royals, the Braves, the Astros, I guess. Like all between 3 and 6% chance of being optimal. But the Cardinals are the cheapest one. If you take a look here at the Cardinals lineup, they haven't really started to price up the Cardinals enough. So you get, a 3.9K Brendan Donovan, a 4.1K Ivan Herrera, 4.1K Wilson Contreras, 3.6K Mason Wynn. You play Jordan Walker at 2,700. So if you want the cheap stack, the Cardinals are the vomit stack of the day, but they're also going to be pretty popular, and especially in Skeens Peralta type lineups, right? Because then it's easy to play that. I think you could put together a double 10K starting pitcher lineup with a Cardinal stack and still play like Shohei Ohtani as a one-off in that lineup. I think you can. But if you can, that means it's probably going to be popular. All these guys on the Reds, on the Cardinals are probably going to be double-digit owned on a 12-game slate. 10 to 15% each. So it's probably going to be the chalk. But let's see what SimLabs has to say. Because SimLabs, says that Peralta's a bit overowned. Rodon's overowned. Strider's definitely overowned. And then guys like Sheehan and May are the underowned pieces, but I'm not all that enthralled in playing either of them. Really, I'm not. Dustin, how many strikeouts does Dustin make? He's 6,700. Do you need that much against Houston? Like Sheehan, the problem with Sheehan is that he's not going to pitch 90 pitches, right? But 7.7K against the Angels strike out enough that you never know. These are iffy. I'd almost rather play Cortez or Arrighetti, only just from a pitch count perspective and a strikeout upside perspective. Right, but I think both have higher strikeout upside than Sheehan or May. But we'll see. We'll see what SimLabs has to say. I want to put in 150 lineups, which just because I'm playing 1 to 3 lineups tonight, I can still use 100. I can still build 150 and see what happens. A lot of times I'm doing this, half an hour before lock on my phone. We have a SimLabs app. I use it on my iPhone. Out and about, you get 95% of the features of the desktop version in the app. I mean, you could obviously use the mobile version, like in a mobile browser. Not all that great to use. So I just download the app, sign into my RotoGrinders account, and pretty much, I mean, outside of like exporting via CSV, like the features that you can't do on the app are the ones that you would expect not to really do on the app, of like trying to import to lineup HQ and stuff like that. For the most part, you could do anything that you see here on the screen, you could do in the app. So I'm going to build 150 lineups. I'm just going to see who shows up more, what stacks show up more. I'm going to assume. I think we're going to get a good smattering of a lot of these cheaper pitchers. I don't think we're going to get that many like 10K, two of whatever. Flaherty's 9,200. You know what I mean? But let's see. I could be wrong. We're just thinking heuristically. So let's go to the exposures tab. Let's see what's going on here. You're getting, getting a lot of Flaherty at 9,200. But obviously, this is, asterisks. If the game plays, to check the radar, to tune into crunch time. You're getting Flaherty, Skeens, Peralta. Not much Rodon. I mean, at all. And then, it is a spattering. You get Cortez, Leiter, Sheehan, May, a little bit of Arrighetti. Let's look at some of these. Skeens Cortez is obviously a cheap pitcher here. But Skeens Flaherty with the Rockies. Well, that's a stack to use. Rockies again. 3.59. The Rockies are always hold your nose and hope they get there. But the type of lineup like this, here's a Yankees stack with some cheap Twins. Right, 5-3. But Skeens Cortez. Right. Rodon Flaherty. Peralta Flaherty. These lineups are like two expensive lineups, but you're playing the Rocky stack. You're playing an Astro stack here. Skeens Flaherty with the Twins. So let's see what teams come up. Yeah, Cardinals. Yeah, like I said, a lot of Cardinals. A lot of Twins against Rodon. I guess that's the leverage spot. SimLabs would prefer you to play the Twins over Rodon. Even though the Twins only have like a 3.4 implied run total. But I guess if Rodon's going to be 30% owned, I don't mind. I really don't mind that. But obviously a lot of Cardinals, Twins, Rockies. But the difference, you could pay the same price for the Twins and the Rockies you can for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have a team total that's 1.5 runs higher. Got some Mets in there. Pretty low team total. Angels, Dodgers there. It's a little bit spread out. But it seems like SimLabs, it's very spread out, but the preferred combination is something like Skeens Cortez, Flaherty Cortez, Flaherty Peralta. This is a lot of this is going to change if that White Sox game gets PPD'd or nixed off the slate. So once you take out Flaherty, so let's take out Flaherty. Let's see what happens if we just don't play Flaherty. So I could do this in SimLabs. You could exclude team stacks, lock team stacks, lock players, exclude players. So I'm just going to exclude. I'm going to act as if that game doesn't exist. Now, obviously, SimLabs would get updated with ownership and everything. So it's not a one-to-one comparison. But I'm just going to Detroit White Sox. What was pitching for the White Sox today? Do I have to Mike Vasil? I don't think we're going to get much of him, but I might as well just put it in just in case. Mike Vasil. And then I'm going to exclude Detroit and the White Sox, even though we weren't getting that much of them either. Anyway, CWS. So I'm just going to act like the game isn't playing. So it's Flaherty's not available. The stacks aren't available. We may get individual hitters in these lineups. Let's just see. If we don't play Flaherty, what do these lineups look like? And this is how you use SimLabs as a research tool. You can do this throughout the day. And this gets updated, multiple times, especially between, 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern, leading up until lock. So now I go to exposures, and let's see, no Flaherty. Right? Getting more, obviously more Skeens Peralta lineups. And then you're getting more of the Baz, Cortez, Leiter, Emmett Sheehan, Jacob Lopez, level. Not that much Arrighetti. I guess SimLabs prefers Cortez over Arrighetti. By whatever this disregard is. But still, yeah, you're getting the Skeens Cortez lineup, Skeens Leiter lineup, Strider, Cortez, Skeens Peralta with the Red Sox stack. Here's a Mets lineup with Skeens Baz, Skeens Freeland with our Astros, Peralta Sheehan with the Twins, Ben Brown, Jack Leiter, double cheap pitcher. This one rates out pretty decently with the Yankees here. There's another Yankees lineup. So the stacks we're getting, still getting a lot of Cardinals. Twins against Rodon, then the Yankees, and still Rockies as well against Liberator. I guess is an option at pitcher as well. But a little bit more spread out than I would have thought. Even when you take out Flaherty, it doesn't really change that much. Right? It's still you're still playing like one expensive pitcher for the most part, Skeens Peralta, and you can play Skeens Peralta lineups. It's just that they're probably going to be paired with a lot of, you're going to have to play the Twins against Rodon. You're going to have to play the Rockies against Liberator. Or you're going to have to play the Cardinals as chalk. I think the Cardinals are going to be the chalkiest stack on the slate. Not as much Dodgers as I thought. We could let's take a look at the Dodgers types of lineups. So I'm going to exclude all this stuff, right? So you can still get Flaherty. So let's say you decide that you want to play the Dodgers. Okay. Well, let me take a look. You could decide. You could put in what you want here. So let's say I want to play the Dodgers, right? I want to play a Dodgers stack, and I want to play. Maybe I want to play Emmett Sheehan with the Dodgers. Maybe I want to play Nestor Cortez line. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna lock in Nestor Cortez and the Dodgers. And you made those choices. Okay, what do these lineups look like? And I'm also gonna lock in that I obviously want my Dodger stack to have Ohtani with Cortez, lock team stack. And I could just go. I could put in 20 lineups and see what they're rated in SimLabs with the current projections as of now in the afternoon without confirmed starting lineups. Obviously, things change. Projections change a little. Ownership changes. So I could put that in, and it'll give me the lineups and show me the rating, whatever. Not all that great. At the top one here is Flaherty, Cortez. Chisholm is a one-off. Hampson is a one. Yeah, have you punting there, 2K. You have 2K punts. Right, to fit in Flaherty, Cortez, and a top-level Dodger stack. So you're getting Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Will Smith. So it doesn't rate out all that great, this combination. Like, this lineup is, like, okay. Well, let's say I just take this out. I just want a 5-man Dodger stack. So what does this look like? That first one that we saw with Ohtani and Cortez and everything, that was a 71 based on our current settings. So this one's 79. Okay, so you're not getting that much better. And you're not playing Ohtani in this lineup. Like Muncy, you're playing. You still have to punt with some of these guys. Christian Moore, Flaherty, Cortez. These Dodgers lineups don't really rate out all that great. Like here's one: Rodon, May with like Ohtani, Rojas, Muncy, Betts, Hernandez. Then you're playing Grissom, Dominguez, and a Riley Adams one-off. These Dodgers lineups don't look all that great. It's the top optimal stack according to our stack tool, but SimLabs has it like SimLabs is going meh right now, going meh. And then what about Cardinals lineups? If Cardinals are going to be, I think they're going to be chalky. Are they going to be like super duper duper chalk? Probably not. But to me, it's the obvious vomit stack. They have almost a five run implied team total, and the stack cost is like nothing. Yeah, these rate out so much better. Peralta, you could play Peralta and Flaherty. Donovan, Contreras, Pages, Herrera, Burleson. You can play Kim and Morel on the Rays and Bregman on the Red Sox. I mean, you look at this lineup and you go, okay, I'm fine with this lineup. It looks actually appealing. There's a Peralta Flaherty lineup, right? You don't have to play any of the cheaper pitches. Peralta Flaherty, Skeens Rodon, Peralta Strider, Skeens Flaherty, Rodon lays the one with the Skeens Cortez. And the Skeens Cortez, you're playing Bregman, Bobby Wood, and Teoscar Hernandez as one-offs, so you don't have to punt anywhere. You're playing Jordan Walker as your punt as part of the stack, and Pedro Paez as one of the punts, also a catcher. Yeah, this is why I expect the Cardinals to be pretty damn chalky. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you got to build your lineups a little bit more carefully, so you're not just jamming in lineups that you'd normally find in double ups. Yeah, but that's how the slate looks like today. And if you want to use SimLabs to build your lineups as a research tool, I mean, there's a lot more options here also. You could sync to Lineup HQ, download via CSV. You could save throughout the day. I mean, it's not just like, oh, here and pick some. I mean, you could just bookmark them. You could save which ones you want. You could filter anyone. You could do everything you'll ever need to do with Sims here at RotoGrinders as part of the Combo Lite or Combo Pro package. Combo Lite's the cheapest, right? You get SimLabs access for MLB, NBA, PGA, NFL, which is coming back, which includes all the showdown slates. You get access to our research tools like Plate IQ, Court IQ, Gridiron IQ, and of all of our rankings and premium content like Cheese's $1 Million Musings. It comes out every weekday for MLB DFS, as well as all the other NBA, all the premium stuff, the written expert analysis. So click on the link in the description for more information about that. But you know it's free, hitting that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thumbs. Hit the subscribe button if you are new here, and hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. Grinders live later today, 5 p.m. Eastern, followed by Crunch Time. You got to make sure that White Sox game plays, or Flaherty ownership is going to go elsewhere. Everything's going to change, and that's why you get SimLabs, and let SimLabs do the work for you. I'll see you on Friday for another MLB SimLabs analysis here at RotoGrinders.com.